You are tuned into the Plug Podcast, Music and More with Bushy and Metal Mike. I am Bushy. This is Metal Mike. We've been kind of ranting about work for a minute.
Going on a few fucking tangents, folks.
We haven't even started yet. And we have a guest, Wave special guest. Oh, yeah, that's right. He doesn't have a fucking webcam.
His shit's frozen, man. You're locked up on us, Adam.
But we
I
do
like the
have,
look, though. He looks all thoughtful and shit, like
I
Deep
know
Thoughts by Adam Davis.
Deep thought.
he's paying attention.
Yeah, he is, man. He's really paying attention to, I like it. He's very, like very thoughtful, very, yeah.
He's on
like
the train wreck, the train wreck that is the plug. But yeah, my Flatlander brother, I've heard him mentioned on the Big Bushy Power Hour every 2 weeks, frankly, back when I was at TMS. He was always tuned in, listening on Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., because he's got excellent taste in glam music. He's a big fan of the Decibel Geek. I guess, Adam, tell us. I mean, you were telling me off mic earlier. That's how you even found us, was fucking Decibel Geek. Look,
Yeah,
Decibel,
bro.
that's what you fucking did. You sent people our way. You done fucked up.
Yeah, bro. So Decimal Geek, if it weren't for Decimal Geek, I wouldn't be here right now, probably, talking to you guys. Because so their Facebook group page, I think somebody had posted, I guess it was you, Bushy, about your show on that metal station at the time. And and I've always been a big fan of like a live radio show format. Um, so I was like, man, I need to check this out. And so just randomly one day I checked it out. I think at that point you were on during the day on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Um, and I really liked the show. I like what you were playing because I wasn't into the heavier stuff at the time, and I like the glam metal and stuff like that. And so I really dug the show. And then,
I appreciate that, dude.
yeah, man.
All you haters out there, I deliver. I
I'm not
appreciate
a
that.
hater.
Yeah, I think a lot of people gave you shit for playing what you did on that metal station, but I enjoyed it.
Well, hey, look, there was a 6 month period where I had to get something out of my system. And as I was telling you off mic, I'll tell the listeners, I growing up in Northern New York, we didn't have a hard rock station. So I was listening to top 40 radio. Otherwise, everything was country and one classic rock station, which was like CCR and shit, which is, cool, but I don't want to hear it all the time. So I
Yeah.
listened to a lot of top 40 radio, T93 FM, Mark Mason and Beth Hall in the morning, on the school bus every morning. And you would hear like, three or four pop songs, two or three hip hop songs, and then you hear like one or two fucking metal songs, dude. So, and for a while, that's the show I wanted to put on, is the show that I heard on the school bus every day. I got it out of my system. How the fuck it turned into, oh, Bushy, all he does is play fucking Debbie Gibson is beyond me. I was so much more than Hanson and Debbie Gibson, you fucks.
But, that's all it took was for them to hear something like that and go, and what the fuck? And look, I love you, Bush, but that shit, along with a few other people, the problem with TMS, and I didn't see it as a problem when we first started. Scott Green was the founder of TMS, folks, for all of you who don't know. And he took me on as a DJ, and then he got Bushy on, and we had but it was cool. Even with it being a metal station, we had a very eclectic DJs. Like a lot of them would, like Walt would specialize in like, brutal death metal and technical death metal. And some of it I dig, some of it I'm like, damn, well, a little too much for me, but hey, whatever. But
No
I was glad that we had
vocals
somebody
at
that,
all. No vocals at all on his show.
yeah, but I was glad we had
fine.
somebody though that did a show like that, because guess what? There is a niche, there is an audience for that extreme type of metal, just like there is any kind of metal and rock. And then you had Bushy, who was doing a lot of glam metal. You had me, I was all over the place, old school, new school, extreme, glam, thrash, whatever fucking floats my boat, stoner, doom, I don't give a fuck. Even some classic rock, or I would even do a whole pre-metal block. But over the time, we, because we opened the can of worms, next thing I know, we have DJs that are playing shit like Oingo Boingo and Duran Duran. And I never really felt comfortable with that because of the name of the station. I had so much people, because I was a co-owner, giving me fucking flack for that shit. Like, and I'm going, look, man, Scott opened the can of worms, blame him, not me. I did, Scott, I love you, but I totally threw you under the bus. But that's one thing I love about being part of Cranium, is with Cranium, anything goes. Is Def Jeff always says, it's art for the ears and mind. So we can have metal shows, and we very much we try to get other people that do other types of shows that aren't just rock and metal. We got it.
I was vindicated when Olaf from Metal Massacre, or Musical Massacre, rather. It's a German death metal band. He's a guitar player for him. I had played a Hanson song, and it wasn't Mbop, even though, yes, I love that song, people. It was a man from Milwaukee, and Olaf started posting pictures from his personal CD collection of like singles and shit that he had bought over there in Germany, and autographed shit. He was like a huge fan whenever I would play pop shit.
That's fucking hilarious. I got a funny story for you.
He would start sending me fucking pop music. Hey, Bushy.
Hey, but that's not that unusual, because here's the other thing. The people need to realize, pop artists like Lady Gaga are metal fans. They love metal too. Like, she loves Anthrax. She loves Black Sabbath. She loves Iron Maiden. She loves that stuff, man. Like, she actually waited till the I don't know if it was the latest Maiden album. It might have been the one before that. She waited until that online till it was on sale, and bought it immediately, and was so excited to listen to it. I was like on her Instagram. I think that shit's cool, man. It showed her going to, because she said one of the things that she loves about metal fans, she's like, they're just so loyal. They're so loyal. She's like, I hope I can cultivate that with my kind of music, with my fans, Huh?
And most of us are. We got a lot of, well, that's not my Black Sabbath, or that's not my Slayer, or that's not my whatever fucking band of choice it is, because it doesn't have all the people that were on the first album. Those fucking cocksuckers piss me off.
Hey. Just chill out there, buddy.
That's not my band.
I remember Bushy used to fuck with people, and he would play fucking Rick Astley. I'd request a song, and he fucking played Rick Astley.
I played Rick Astley on my show one time, man, for a trip. I think for a we were doing a donation kind of charity thing, and somebody paid money, and we played Rick Astley, which I like that song, So there you go. I'm not just all fucking metal.
I would do it just for fun, like, because I would not announce that he was even in my set list.
Oh yeah.
All of a sudden, it would just pop in, and the chat room erupts in laughter. Because
one of the things I would like to do on the Metal Mike show, and this was when we were on TMS, but even now, because I still kind of try to keep it in the rock and metal realm, only because, my name's Metal Mike, so I try to live up to that, But with that being said, one of the things I love to do is play something like Rick Astley, but I have an introduction with John Cleese laughing like a madman. Then he goes, and now for something completely different. And it would go into like, fuck, I don't know. I played ABBA one time, and everybody's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, yeah, I like ABBA. So even I've done it from time to time, but I would always do it with the intro of now for something completely different, But as I said, the one thing about Cranium is they're very much trying, like, we've got one who does a show, I believe on Tuesdays, called Totally Tubular, which is all like new wave and synth pop, man. And I think that's cool.
I bet I would love that show.
You probably would. You ought to check it out, dude.
I probably would too. I got to check out some more shows on Cranium.
Let's see. When is she on? I will fucking find out for you gentlemen right now, because I'm cool like that. Okay, Totally Tubular.
You sound like fuck is that puppet's name in the Muppets? It's the fucking
for sure. It's tagged as alternative, new wave, and punk. DJ Gemini's Totally Tubular plays all the best new wave, alternative punk rock from the 80s, 90s, and 2Ks. Mondays from 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I think, to 8 p.m. maybe, something like that. Something like that, man. It's fucking something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go check that out. But Metal Mike, We got. I think we have Adam here, my Flatlander brother. I don't know. I'm still have a.
Okay, what's this Flatlander shit? What do you? What the
He
fuck?
lives. He lives on the other side of Raleigh, down in the Flatlands,
Oh, okay. I
and
thought you were talking like flat Earth. I was going to smack both of you.
oh,
You're those idiot.
I'm up here in the Appalachian Mountains, so
Flat Earth Society.
you have to
Fucking moron.
you have to understand that everybody around here they talk so poorly of Flatlanders. It's like
Oh man.
it's like calling a Southerner a hillbilly. You can call them redneck, but hillbilly seems to piss them off.
Depends.
I've had my girlfriend say that term's racist.
Really? Because I've heard that some hillbillies that live in them there hills don't like being called rednecks.
Well, that's because rednecks associated with so much negative connotation because of
Yeah.
racism. That yeah, I get that, but boy, hillbilly will piss them off up here because we in the hills. My family lives in Greensboro. I got to meet one of my cousins a few years ago when I met my sister's daughter, who's not really her daughter. Blah blah blah. I had to pick up Nevaeh, and I met them in Greensboro. So we went to Stamey's for some fucking barbecue. Best barbecue on the fucking East Coast, by the way. If you get a pulled pork sandwich, that's all I ever recommend in North Carolina is a pulled pork sandwich with Lexington sauce. That's a vinegar-based sauce. Don't fuck with any of this mustard shit. Don't fuck with any of this tomato shit.
I just realized. So you both live in North Carolina, and Eric RMCP lives there too, right?
Yeah, Eric's much closer. He's in Asheville. He's about 49 miles away from me.
Okay.
Yeah, Bushy's
Adam's like
like
four and
five
a half
hours
hours.
away from me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How many hours?
about 5 hours.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
He's as far away from me as Atlanta and Nashville.
Right on.
Because I think we were going to go try to see Aerosmith and Black Crows when they were on tour.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Poor, man, that
I was
sucks
trying to get
about
Bushy
Steve
to come
Ballard.
to Raleigh, but it's a little bit too far for him.
That's a fucking haul, man. Look, I've never seen either of those bands, and I would have loved to have seen Aerosmith. I'm not driving that far for shows anymore, man. I'm getting fucking old. I don't
Nah, I feel you.
but I drove 5.5 hours. Well, I rode 5.5 hours one way to see fucking Merciful Fate, and it was worth it. And King Diamond's playing down there, and
Dude, King Diamond's coming to my neck of the woods. King Diamond, Overkill, and Night Demon. I can't
yes,
fucking wait.
oh, I'm like fuck. I gotta get hold of Jay. Be like, hey, you want to drive again? Because I do not want to drive 5.5 hours to go see a show.
And I'm going to tell you, I've seen King Diamond live once before. It's worth it. And that was a road trip. Me and my lady
You
friend
went to
at the
Louisville,
time
right?
went to Louisville, man. It was
Yeah.
fucking with Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats opening. It was amazing.
Oh man, I bet
It
that
was
was
so
cool.
cool.
Nice. Metal Mike, why do we have Adam here?
Well, I just thought, we've always talked about, well, we should have this guy on for a guest and that guy, but usually it's always like fellow podcasters. I was just thinking, you know what, man? Since we're part of the RMCP family, really, why don't we do what they do from time to time? I mean, that's how some of us got turned on to being on a mic and doing things, is being asked to be on that show. And, I mean, that's because that was my inspiration, was Rock and Metal Combat podcast. And then I got turned on to Decibel Geek podcast. And I'm honored to say I've been a guest on both shows, man. I was really honored to be on Decibel Geek because I'm like,
That's badass.
they're here
Never
and
asked me.
I'm down here, and
Have to have me a
um,
conversation with Sinzek here.
I
and
love Chris and Aaron. No, they're
I've
great
never been on
guys.
the Decibel Geek show.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I've done some live shows with them though.
yeah. See, and I haven't, so it all fucking evens out. Quit being
They,
a whiny little bitch, dude.
they put the real talent where
Yeah, I
it
mean,
matters.
Adam, you should have
Live.
heard this motherfucker. When I was going to New Orleans at the time, Ian was living there, and he was all, well, you're going to get to hang out with Ian. When? And then when it didn't work out because Ian had to work overtime, I'm glad. I'm like, really? Man,
Hater,
you are
hater.
just like a Cowboys fan to be a whiny, fucking, crying, petty little bitch.
That's what I'm
why-
saying, man. I want to go to Rockin' Pod and just
Oh,
meet
Adam,
everybody.
I'm going to tell you something right now. Now, I've been a few times. I've only been as a listener or a fan once. Now, I was Metal Mike by that point in time because I was doing my radio thing. I was doing my live radio show before I ever really did a podcast.
Same.
I did have another podcast with a guy who was a DJ at TMS. Shout out to DJ Mac, James McCormick, you fucking rule.
Fuck
It
yeah,
was called
Pack.
Mind Over Matter.
I've got a bunch of your guys' episodes.
Yeah, you do.
No,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
tried to
no, I
give you
mean,
that for extra content. So if we ever
no,
needed
I
a
mean,
break, you could put that
still,
out.
like it's not on my hard drive; it's on my computer.
Cool.
I found it today. I saw Shant Star. I'm like, what? This guy? I mean, I thought he was like the devil. He was up there on Terrence level, the devil, you know. And
No, I not for me. I mean, I've always liked Shant. I mean, he's Shant.
hey,
I
I
don't
like
want to
that
say
guy
too
too,
much.
but he's called me up and he's got an issue. And every time he calls me up, he's dealing with that particular issue.
Right.
And it just he's too much. I haven't talked to him in a few years.
Same here.
But I
I mean,
have
I
talked to him since I've been down here.
and I just want to say, Shant, if you're listening, I want you to know, man,
He's not
I still consider you a friend and everything. But yeah, it was just like, I mean, it's your life, brother, and you can do what you want. But with anybody I care about, if you expect me to just sit there and be a witness to that and not say anything, or then I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Don't want to get all into it, but yeah.
Why are you making it serious? All I said is I have some of your Mind Over Metal fucking shows. That's all
And
I was saying.
yeah, and you know what? You should release that as content when we ain't got nothing to fucking put out, Bushy. That's why I gave it to you.
If I would have started uploading that from the time I moved here and had no internet, that first episode would have finally uploaded by the time it got turned on, because Zito Media sucks. Let me remind you people again, it's a public service announcement from Bushy in Western North Carolina. If you're out there in the sticks and the only fucking internet service provider you can get is Zito Media, let me let you know you're going to wait 6 months if your house has never been connected to this company, even if the next house next door is only 100 fucking feet away and has the exact same goddamn company. They're going to come survey you to make sure they can hook you up. They can. They just don't fucking do it. They wait 6 fucking months to do it. And then it takes them 4 more weeks to come and bury the cable. They just did that today. Fuck you, Zito Media.
Hold on a minute, fellas.
I need to put the Jeopardy theme song in my fucking.
That way y'all can see my beautiful visage. All right, man. If it was a rating system, Big Bushy would give what are they called? Zito?
Zito, Z-I-T-O.
Zito Media.
Zito.
Finger. Because that's what I give it. Like if it's something sucks, I don't give it like a thumbs down. I give it the finger or fingers.
I give it a big old dick in the back of their fucking throat.
There. Ooh. All right. Oh my. Anyway, so yeah, dude. But I thought it'd be kind of cool to have Adam on and just maybe a general discussion or find out not just how he discovered the show, but like you said, you're a fan of glam metal. Like, what was the band that broke your cherry, brother? Like, what's the band?
Oh, well, I was about to say not just Decimal Geek, because I'm here. Even before that, Kiss. If it weren't for the band Kiss, I wouldn't be here.
All right.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's what introduced
so
me
we're all Kiss fans here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm a huge Kiss fan, man.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
interesting because he's much younger than I am. So by your standards, Mike, I mean, fuck, he's a baby. And
fuck, dude.
We'll see.
All right,
so
hold on. Time out. Okay, I gotta confer with my co-host here for just a minute, Adam. What fucking year were you born?
75.
I'm 5 years older than you, dude. You make it out like I'm fucking generations older than you. I may as well be, because I was cool enough to be into that awesome music at a very young age.
Well, I was too. 3rd grade. That's pretty young.
It is. It is. But
to get into the 74 or 75 album.
Sure. I mean, the thing I think was unique about, well, not unique, I shouldn't say that, but in a way it is, because most guys my age, their gateway into Kiss was probably Mate Alive 2, Double Platinum. I've even heard Dr. Fuck say that, and he's older than me. Right. The very first Kiss album I heard, and it wasn't that old, that album had only been out for a few months, was Alive. and it made a huge, yeah. Like I may say some heavy things about Kiss, but they are a very important band to me because without Kiss, man, I don't know. Who knows? I might have been new wave Mike, or fucking who fucking knows, man. You know, I mean, I don't know. You know, I mean, but Kiss was a very, and they still are a very important band to me, man. And I mean, I've said a lot of heavy things about them, but at the end of the day, I'm with Dr. Fuck when he said, and I agreed with him 100%, nothing will ever taint the years of 74 to 78 to me. I mean, it was just, and I'm old enough that even though I was a little fella, I remember Hysteria. I fucking remember it, man, when they were the biggest fucking band on the planet. Like, and just seeing them on TV was a huge deal. You guys got to understand, this was before MTV, before YouTube, before any of that, man. Just seeing those faces, like the Paul Lynn Halloween special. I was a little fella. I watched that and was excited
See,
because it was
Kiss meets
Kiss.
Phantom of the Park, Kiss Makeup by
Yeah.
Elko or whatever it was.
Right. Oh yeah, dude. Like I'm telling you, 8-year-old Mike thought Phantom of the Park fucking ruled. And then I remember like 10 years later when they had it late night on CBS one night, and I went, oh my, but I still, I mean,
I'm
I love
I
them.
am curious because like I interviewed on Hanging with Bushy, Rocket Star, who's not a Kiss fan, didn't like him because he was coming of age. He's basically my age. So he wasn't handed those, the debut and Alive. He was MTV,
I have not watched that yet, but you wouldn't know by his look.
right. And that's why I brought it up because,
Sorry, dude, but
well, he explains it all very well. But he's talking. He's like, look, when Kiss was on MTV, it was Let's Put the X in Sex and stuff like that. And that's just not my bag, man. It's not until recently I went back and started listening to those 70s albums. And dude, Black Diamond's like the greatest song ever written. I'm like, fucking holler.
mhm.
fair enough. I mean, I got a friend of mine. In fact, I used to have him as a co-host on the Metal Mike show from time to time. His name's Dave Lutke. We called him Dirty Dave. You figure out why we call him Dirty Dave, but I'll let you all figure that out. But the interesting thing about it is he wasn't really into Kiss, and it was because of a lot of their, well, like, let's put the X and he was just like, man, dude, they're fucking lame, and I gave
By the
him a
way,
lot.
that's fucking wrong because that's a great song.
No, it's a fucking terrible song, but
Let me
you
go to the
know,
tiebreaker, Adam. Let's put the X in Sex.
Um, it's not one of my favorites.
It's true.
oh, thank you, Adam. All
It's not
right,
one of my favorites. I got to be
see,
honest. I got to be honest.
all right, so yeah,
He probably doesn't like Crazy Nights either.
No, I hate Crazy Nights. Actually though, I do like I'll fight hell to hold you. I do like that song.
and Paul's vocals. Hey, I said that. I've said it on the podcast. I've said it on the Metal Mike show. Paul's vocals on that record, he is singing his heart out, man. Makes
Yeah,
me
he
almost feel
is. He
bad
is.
for him because I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
he's putting all this effort into it. And
Oh,
and
here we go.
and while Crazy Nights, now hear me out, it was a successful record. I mean, it wasn't a
It
dude,
went gold.
it went no, it went platinum, dude. That's
Oh,
a
did it?
platinum selling album. Yes,
What
I'm
about-
pretty sure it is. I'm almost positive it is.
Yeah, see, I didn't even know that. I
Let
figured
me
at
let
best.
me look though real quick just to make sure, but I'm pretty fucking sure it was.
For me, it was cool as fuck because I had heard no new Kiss. That was my first new Kiss, much like Chris Sinzak. You
I'm
know,
sorry about you. My condolences.
I don't
Anyway,
care. He was up there dancing. Paul was a good looking guy in great shape, and there was chicks hanging off his junk. I was like, this is the greatest music ever. I thought I liked this 70s stuff. This stuff is great.
yes, it's platinum, 1 million copies. So
Nice.
there you
Oh
go.
wow.
Good.
Went platinum in Canada too.
Deservedly so. Good job, Gene, Paul, Eric, and Bruce.
Deservedly. But
Yeah.
it wasn't what they were hoping. They were trying. They wanted that because here's the thing. And even though I'm not a huge fan, like I do, it's weird with Aerosmith. Some of the 80s stuff I do like. The stuff that sounds like Aerosmith to me, I'm like, I like that song. And even the early 90s. But Aerosmith was able to do what Kiss tried to do, only they were much more successful at it than Kiss. Much more. As far as record sales, you can't deny that. I mean, dude, fucking Permanent Vacation sold like gangbusters, dude.
Oh, that was on the backs of Angel.
Pump.
That was the
All them albums sold like
power
fucking.
Janie's Got a Gun, another power ballad.
But you know, I always
Darker
like
lyrics,
Janie's Got a Gun.
Yeah, me
Yeah, I
too.
like it. It's a dark ballad.
And I like Angel. I think that's such a sexy, sweet song. I love those fucking guitars. Man,
I like Angel.
Yeah, it's good shit. Adam,
it's all right. It's all right.
Kiss album.
It got a little old though, man. I didn't mind it at first, but I'm like, oh fuck the ballad again. God damn it. It's kind of like when we went to go see Ron Keel and every song was a fucking ballad at Keel Fest. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, it sucked. I almost put my cowboy hat on so I could say the real metal cowboy.
You're right.
Yeah, I remember y'all talking about that. How
God, it was bad.
Like lackluster that show was.
I mean, to this day, Ian Wadley still laughs at my reaction because I'm sitting there and I'm sitting there and I'm sitting there and sitting there, and I keep going, "Come on, dude, play some Keel, fucking play something." And he fucking went right into another ballad, and I literally fucking threw my hands up in the air like, "Fuck this, I'm fucking out of here!" I fucking snapped, and Ian was like, "Oh my god," he's just laughing his ass off. And then he talked about it, Metal Mike, man, he just had a meltdown right in front of me, man, and I'm like, "Well, dude, fuck."
Look,
I like a ballad too. I'm not anti-ballad. Some people think I am. I'm not Ian. Ian is a ballad-hating motherfucker.
I don't want to see a whole show of fucking ballads.
No, nobody does. Even people who like ballads.
You remember he went backstage and he took off the cowboy hat and the vest and come back out and he's got the long black trench coat buttoned all the way up.
Shit.
And he does Black Sabbath, the Mob Rules. And man,
that ruled.
It killed. And I looked at Metal Mike and Adam, I swear to God, I said, holy fuck, I hope he doesn't put the hat back on. Because he walked off stage. He comes back out, he's got the fucking hat back on and the vest back on over his white shirt. And it's ballad after ballad after ballad. I'm hanging back there with fucking Charles Trainer. And I'm like, dude, this sucks. He's like, okay, because I was about to ask you, is this as bad as I think it is, or is it just me? He's like, it's fucking horrible.
And then it just kind of became a running joke where and man, Charles ran with it. Next thing you know, there's I Survived Keel Fest Facebook group page. It was funny. It was, man. We were all cracking jokes because I remember one thing that was really odd. And I even pointed out, I'm like, man, Mark Alden Taylor, we give him all the shit about having shitty taste in music. Mark was the first one to go, fuck this, I'm out. He bailed, man. Like he bailed before anybody, you know? So
my co-host wouldn't leave, so I was stuck there for another solid 40 minutes of this guy hoping he's going to hear something heavy.
Yeah.
You talking about Bildo?
No, I'm talking about fucking Metal Mike. I was ready to go.
Yeah, we should have left before we did, man. And I think that's why I just kept going. It's going to get better, though. He's going to play something heavy. He's got to. But the other thing that was fucked up about it, if you went outside the club, the sound, everything sounded a lot better.
Out of that,
I don't know who was doing the sound in the club, man, but it didn't sound good. Like I don't know who was doing the engineer or they weren't doing a very good job.
Well, yeah, because remember when Steeler played, it was Abby Kay's guitar player.
Yeah,
and lead for Steeler.
And that dude can shred.
And you could not hear his solos like at all, not like a little bit, like at all. There was no sound. When he went into his leads, it was horrible.
Because I remember that was one part where you and I were like, dude, that looks like Abby Kay's guitar player. I'm like, dude, it's got to be, man. And it was.
Because we interviewed them while they were on the road going to Philly.
Yep. So,
talk about that. We got to talk to our guests. Metal Mike, we always do this. We talk to each other.
No, dude, I'm just about to fucking say. Like,
it's cool, man.
Adam, what I was going to tell Adam is, as much fun as I had in all those experiences of being a fellow podcaster, and that is a great experience. The most fun I ever had was the first year I went, where I was just hanging out with the Rock and Metal Combat podcast guys. I mean, hanging out their booth. We did everything together. And because we stayed in the same hotel, it was really cool because one of the things that bummed me out about the last one was we stayed at the hotel, but that was, and I remember it was expensive, man. I'm like, fuck, they're gouges. Well, come to find out, because Chris was getting so many people, they basically tried to fuck him and say, well, we're going to raise the prices, which shows you how stupid they are. Because now I had my friends, I don't know how many people I had get fucking, Airbnbs.
And that's
probably what I'm going to do this year. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going back, which sucks in a way. Cause I mean, we'll still be able to meet up in places and do things together. but it's not going to be, man. The first few, it
After
was
hour
all,
hangouts in
everything
the
was
room.
there.
Yeah.
Everything was there. The bars were open in the hotel. I mean, so we
Yes.
did everything together, man. And there was such camaraderie. It was so much fun. Now, I'm not saying it's not like that anymore. There's still a lot of camaraderie, and I do want you to go, Adam. You
Yes.
got
Yeah.
to go because I
I
want to meet
Well,
you. I want to
highly
hang with
recommend.
you, and you can hang with us as much as you want, dude. You know, and we're going to be hanging
hell
out
yeah.
with all those guys. I mean, and what's really cool is at the end of it, when it's all over, Aaron Camaro has us all come by for a get together, and that's a blast. Yeah, Chris and Aaron, wonderful people, man, wonderful human beings. I mean, even the first time I went down there, man, Aaron invited me into his home. I got completely shit faced. I do remember I yelled at the camera and called Vinnie Vincent a hermaphrodite fucking uh, bitch or something like that. And even Chris Aaron was like, "Whoa, dude!" But you know, I mean, part of that is at that point in time, because then
Was that the year Ralph was walking around dressed up as Vinnie Vincent?
yes, but I was filming them. Ralph gave me the camera, but this was at Aaron's house, and I got fucking hammered on Yinling because at the time we couldn't get Yinling here in Illinois. So
Hmm.
to me, it was like Yinling. Oh, so I grabbed me like I think I got 2 12 packs. I got fucking hammered. I mean, blast. And I remember they had the cameras, and when they panned it over to me, I just looked at the camera and went, fuck you, Vinny, you hermaphrodite fucking cocksucking bitch, or something like that. How dare you? And they were like, whoa, Metal Mike, whoa. But, and part
Like
of it was
calm down.
part of the reason, yeah, I had a meltdown, full blown meltdown, instant meltdown. But part of it, the reason why was because even then I considered Chris and Aaron my friends, even though I didn't know them that well, really. But I was a listener to their podcast. I
Yeah.
mean, these guys were so good at what they did. They made me actually give a fuck about Vinnie Vincent.
Well,
When I
see,
moved,
that's how I feel about y'all. Like I've never met you in person, but
mhm.
I feel like we're friends. We've known each other, and even though I was looking at it the other day, I think I started listening to Bushy's show in like early 2022. I feel like it's been a lot longer than that, but
Mm.
I think that's when I first started listening. And then shortly after Mike, I started listening to your show. And
Right on.
I just feel like we've known each other a lot longer than that.
Well,
But
that's one of the things that attracted me to all these guys, especially Ralph and Ian. First time I heard their podcast, and I was already a fan of Ralph because of his, you know, I'm a thrash metal fan, thrash or die. I got a kick out of the videos. Then I saw that I saw him on this something Kiss won't be at the Hall of Fame. I'm like, that looks like the guy from Thrash or Die. So I click on it, and it's Ralph going on a tangent about, told you they weren't going to fucking play the Hall of Fame. Fucking, oh, you know, he's just going off. And I'm like, this guy rules, you know? And even though I didn't always agree with him, he was just so entertaining. And I'm like, I could hang with
yeah,
this guy. Like, and when he said he had a podcast and I listened, it reminded me of me and my buddies back in the day, man. We'd fucking have parties. We'd fucking sit around a campfire and we would have these debates about bands and albums and different eras of bands. And it reminded me so much of me and my buddies and how we bust our fucking chops. And I realized that, and in some ways, I know this is going to sound weird because, you know, unlike some of the people, and I'm not putting anybody down, and I'm not going to mention names, but there's certain people I think that I don't want to say but they look. I'm a person who appreciates social media. Obviously, if we didn't have social media, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing right now. I have met so many amazing, awesome people through
Yeah.
Facebook, through
same.
Instagram, through all kinds of stuff.
It's really awesome when you finally get to meet them face to face.
Yeah,
Right. With that being said, though, there's also the dark side of the internet too. You meet a lot of weirdos. I mean, I've had some fucking weird shit come at me, man, where I'm like, whoa, bro, what the fuck, you know? Or hey, lady, you know, like what the, you know. And I remember my nephew warning me about that when I first joined TMS. He's like, I know you're going to be great, Uncle Mike, and it's going to be cool. But Kane was like, dude, you're going to run into some fucking weirdos, though. So just look out for that shit, you know? And he was right. He was right. But I've also met a lot of amazing people. But there's some people that I get the feeling that whatever their circumstances, they don't they don't seem to have a lot of, I mean, it's cool to have a presence online and it's cool to meet people and make friends online, but you also need to have friends in your real life too. And that's one thing. And I'm not bragging. It's just a fact. I have no shortage of friends. That's I may not be rich, I may not have a hot girlfriend, you know, but I have a lot of friends, people who genuinely care about, they're good friends, they're good people. But what's weird about them is a lot of them, they don't really listen to my podcast. They don't really, I mean, they think it's cool that I do all that, but and part of it's like, well, Mike, I don't listen because I've already heard all your stories. I'm like, touche, so I do get it. I don't take it personal, but the cool thing is when I've went to Rock and Pod, like the first time I felt like I met so many people like me. Like I have a lot of friends and they like music too, but they're not as passionate about it as
That's
you
how I
three
feel,
are.
brother.
And
I don't
that's the
have
thing, man.
I don't have
We
many people around here that share the same passion that I do
Yeah,
for
they're
the
they're they're
music
like
that I like.
they're casual fans. They like music, but I
Yeah,
know some people, like my buddy Dan, music is just something that's there. It's like disposable to him. It's just something, it's like it's not that, big a deal. I mean, now that's not to say he doesn't like certain bands or certain, he does, but he's just not like where I'm a fucking music nerd. Like I want to know the minutia. I want to know what they were fucking doing when they were recording. I want to know what they were thinking when they came up with that shit. Like, and I'm that
same,
way even about films. I've always been that way. I love the
same.
behind the scenes stuff and the minutia. I guess it's the fucking nerd in me. And I think that's the thing with you guys. And I think, yeah, that's why it's like, even though I've never met you in person, Adam, yeah, dude, you come to my show, and because it's kind of like Adam Marshall, this guy lived in Australia from Adelaide, same place that Jai, that Aussie metal guy, amazing DJ at Cranium Radio. Check him out. Has 2 shows a week. And Adam and I became like, we don't do it as much anymore, but for a long time, man, we would, because I did a late night show. I mean, when I first started radio, I was doing literally midnight from like 5 or 6 in the morning. That was like 1 a.m. to 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, folks. But I even doing that show and doing it as consistently, I built an audience. Some of them were over in Europe, some of them were in Australia, but I had people coming into the chat, and Adam was one of them, man. And he literally bought a Metal Mike shirt and became like it's weird even sometimes. Like I'll have people go, "I'm a fan." I'm like, of what? It's just me. I'm just Mike. It's not that big a deal, guys. But it blows me away when I have people like Jerry Supe fucking sporting a Metal Mike shirt, and I'm like, well, thank you, I appreciate it. I'm fucking, I am beyond grateful and flattered, man. But you all find me entertaining in anyway. Like I never take it for granted, and that's the thing about you, Adam. You're there every week, man, and I appreciate it. And you're a good dude. And you got
I
a and
enjoy
you got
it,
a cool
man.
girlfriend with a colorful name. I mean, what's not to love?
How do you know? You haven't let the man talk.
Hey, fuck you, man. Adam. So Kiss was your band that was your gateway band. Kiss was?
Yeah, so I was getting ready to say so, and I'm getting ready to show my age here. So the Mad TV special was like my Paul Lynn moment.
Yes.
That's awesome. So how old are you, if you don't mind my asking, brother?
I'm 34.
Oh, wow, you're even a few years younger than my nephew. Okay, but yeah, you're definitely that generation. You're the guys that discovered Kiss when they got back together, the reunion era.
Right. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What's your opinion of Psycho Circus? Were you a fan? I bet you were, weren't you?
I am a fan because well,
Timeline.
so when I saw them on Mad TV, I was like, man, these guys look cool. Like they're, you know, I want to know more about them. I want to hear their music and stuff. And so I was talking to my parents about them, and they were like, "Well, let's dig out our record crates and see what we have." And of course, the only one they had, which is one of the best, was they had the Alive album. My dad had that album in his record crate, and so I was listening to that. I was like, "Man, dude, this is fucking awesome." And
One of the greatest live albums ever. I don't give a fuck what
oh,
anyone
for sure,
says.
for
Ain't
sure, yeah. And so then I was like, well, man, I want to hear more. So the newest album was Psycho Circus at the time. So I remember the first thing I had was the VHS tape with the 3D glasses.
Yes, I had that shit too. Video. Yeah,
Yep, yep. And
it
I
was
thought that was so
amazing.
cool. And then I finally had the album, and then once I listened to that, I was like, well, man, I got to go back and listen to some of their older stuff. And one of my favorites going back was Creatures of the Night. Um, I don't know how y'all feel about that album, but
I love it. Bushy's kind of meh.
Yeah, it's got some good stuff, but I'm like,
well, to each their
I
own.
don't listen to it.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what's weird about Creatures though? That album was it's more popular now, and over
Yeah.
the years it's become more
it
popular. It's kind of
is.
become this cult
Yeah.
thing. That record bombed like a motherfucker when it came out, and I'll tell you
Come
why, because I
on,
was
music
there.
from the Elder. It'll be the next cult.
It's not going to happen, Bushy.
Gonna happen.
Actually, I think in a way it already has. The Elder has its lovers, fucking weirdos. But anyway, uh, back to Creatures, the superior album. The thing about Creatures though is I think because people like I was there, and I'm here to tell you, when Creatures came out, we didn't buy it, I didn't hear it, I didn't even know about it, because by that point in time the hardcore Kiss fans were so fucking over it because of Unmasked and the Elder. They were just done. They were just done with Kiss, man. And I've often said that if Creatures, or I mean if the Elder had sonically, I'm not saying storyline wise, but sonically, if the Elder had been as heavy as Creatures, and again, it's all conjecture on my part, but I've often wondered, would that have made a difference? Because remember, the goal when they were recording the Elder originally was, well, we're going to make another heavy, hard rocking record. Like that was the goal. That's what they wanted to do. And then they got talked into doing whatever the Elder became. I've always thought the idea for it was cool, and not it's not like I hate it. There are some great riffs on that record. There are some great moments on that album. There's some out where, and even Creatures, like I think the song Creatures of the Night would have fit the Elder perfectly, especially for a bad guy song.
It probably would have, especially if you think of fiery hot. What?
Yeah.
Fire of the Ancient World. Yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I
See,
think
that's
that,
how I have to work through things anymore. I must be getting fucking dementia because I
but
things in my head to get to it.
I think that was awesome though, personally, dude. But my thing that I was gonna about the Elder though is I know what they were trying to do, and I think that if I've just often wondered that I think that's the problem. If the album had maybe not, maybe because even Ace himself said that he listened to the Elder a while back, and he's like, it's not a bad record. He goes, I still stand by the fact that it wasn't the record that we should have made at the time. And ultimately Ace was right. The drug addict, the fuck up was right, man. I mean,
What
because
year is it?
what year did that come out?
Yeah.
81?
83.
No, Creatures came out in 83.
Like, yeah.
Elder came out in
Yeah,
81.
okay. You're talking about the Elder.
Yeah.
And
So,
and
and
okay,
what
so
year is it?
let's see. The Elder.
It's 2024. So get the fuck over the fact that it came out 40 fucking years ago and just appreciate it for the masterpiece that it is.
Well, it sucks, dude. It's
Why do
not
we have to
God.
keep
It is
having this
not a master.
conversation?
Just stop.
It's
A
fucking amazing.
masterpiece. Get the
Everyone,
fuck out.
everyone got butthurt because the demon cried. And it
I
won't.
didn't care about that. I did
Hey,
not care about
I
that.
do
That's one
like
of the
World Without
That's
Heroes.
better one. That's one of the better fucking songs on the record. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
November 10th, 1981. Okay, so
Oh,
it came out late 81.
Mr. Blackwell is great. Fucking Escape from the Island
The
is
Oath.
Escape
The
from the
Oath is
Island is
good.
pretty
Just a
cool.
Boy is great. The whole fucking album smokes.
Just the Boy
Yeah.
is fucking terrible.
It's great.
Does not smoke. There's nothing about that song that smokes, Bushy. Stop it.
Just a boy.
Oh. The Oath was pretty cool. I like Under the Rose.
Great
I do
tune.
like that song.
Yeah, that's a good song.
Heroes is pretty cool. Escape from the Island's pretty badass. Odyssey,
Yeah.
I think If Paul Stanley was doing a Broadway show, is great, but as a Kiss song, I'm like, I don't. Even though Ace does have a pretty sweet solo there,
Right.
I
And wouldn't
am
that have worked awesome as a Kiss production? Yes, it would have.
no. Anyway, Fanfare
Oh,
terrible, Just a Boy terrible, Odyssey.
great. By the way, great. Well, no, fanfare is
Not only
boring.
that, it doesn't even fit the story. It's supposed to be set in medieval times, and you're talking about going on a starship. Get the fuck out of here. Only You, not bad. Under the Rose, I do like that song.
It's gods and stuff. It could be anytime they fucking want.
Dark Light,
Fucking
it's
comic book
okay.
fan can't buy into the comic book story.
A World Without Heroes, The Oath.
Great.
I like The Oath. Mr. Blackwell's kind of weird. Escape from the Island, not too bad. It's kind of and then it's okay. It's not a masterpiece though. There's nothing like
Like I think I's the worst song, and that's so upbeat and catchy. I love it.
you do you, boo. You do you.
I can get down with I. I can get down with I.
All right. Anywho,
In a boat of my head.
no, and that's
My
fine. I mean,
head.
look, if people like fucking, I don't care. You know, I mean, now I'm not gonna lie. 19, man, I was 11 years old. That came out in November, so I was 11 by then. 11-year-old Mike. I only heard a few songs of the Elder, and I thought, what Kiss do? Lose their balls completely? Because I think one of the songs I heard was Just a Boy, and I was horrified, just fucking horrified.
Really? Because the first time I heard that, I loved it. Adam, just a boy. Come on, help me out.
How old were you, Bushy, when you first heard?
Can't help you out there, brother. I
Oh,
can't help you
well,
out there, brother.
Thank you, Adam.
fuck you,
Thank
Adam.
you. Yeah, look, man, if you want somebody to help you out, get Baco. But even Baco gave you shit for you making it your number 2.
I have a buddy. His name's Matt Gaines. I went to high school with him. He was big into all this stuff when I was getting into it. Remember, I had Kiss and Kiss Alive, and then 87 hits, Crazy Nights, and I love that. So I'm starting to try to get Kiss stuff.
Accumulate it, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's like, yeah, I got everything, man. I'm like, well, dude, make me a tape. I want some music from every fucking album. And that's what he did. So the solo albums, that's where I first heard Hooked on Rock and Roll off of Pete's. That's where I first heard fucking Rip It Out. That's where I first heard Radioactive. And oddly enough, Tonight You Belong to Me.
That's a good song. That's
But
I
he-
think that's the best song off Paul's solo
He
album.
put Just a Boy on there. And dude, I loved it.
How
Loved it.
okay.
We're
Okay.
talking 7th, 8th, maybe 9th grade. 87 would have been 7th grade.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough, man. I mean, but for me, I was just
let's rank the solo albums.
rank them.
Yeah.
Well, give me.
And
Okay.
I have to think for a minute.
Your favorite. My favorite's Paul.
I'm with you.
Ace, hands down. Paul's number 2.
Paul, then Ace.
Yes.
Honestly, for me,
Say
then
Peter.
Peter. And then Gene.
My brother fucker. And Peter and
Yeah.
Jim will flip for me depending on my mood. But Peter's album.
Well,
and
I
over the
agree with
years-
that.
Over the years, Peter's album has grown on me a lot. I hated it back in the day. Gene's, you could have never told me was a bad album ever. Like ever, you could have never told me it was a bad album.
When you were a Kiss tard,
Well-
you mean?
Yeah. Well, no, I think Kiss fan is the right thing. I'm actually starting to get sick of this tard thing. And I use it a lot too. I like tards, you know.
Say, dude, what the fuck?
But it's like,
I don't mean that you are now, but you even said yourself that once upon a time nobody could have told me
like
that Unmasked sucks. Well,
right.
it sucks.
Yeah, God, it's so fucking bad.
Thank you.
So bad. Like
But hey, if you guys,
Wait.
the elder
maybe out there that like Unmasked, rock out with your cock out, jam out with your clam out.
the elder
Yeah,
buries Unmasked.
Yeah, I'd take the Elder.
Man,
I would,
sorry. I'm sorry. I gotta choose Unmasked over the Elder. I'm
Oh.
sorry, guys.
Let's have
No,
y'all
no,
might,
it's
y'all
all right,
might,
man. You're not gonna
y'all might
offend
just
me.
end the podcast right now.
No,
we would never do
No.
that because we are all pathetically subjective. That's what
because
we
I'll
do
tell
here.
you why.
Yeah.
Naked City, just that song alone is better than any song on the Elder. Yeah, I said it. So anyway,
Well, that's like I like Talk to Me. I'm not gonna lie, man. I love that fucking song.
Dude, Naked City.
Naked
Come on,
City is the
bro.
best song on
That's a
that
good jam.
album.
That's a good jam.
Hands down. Hands down. The rest of it,
No, there's a couple good songs,
no,
but
no.
I mean,
it's
It's
not
pretty
the great
bad, dude.
Kiss album.
And here's the thing about, okay, so, and that's what I'm saying where Kiss got clueless, man. 1980, what were their contemporaries doing?
Fuck.
mm,
And
Right. And what did they put out? They put out that bullshit. And then what was their contemporaries doing in 81? And then they put out The Elder. Get the fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here. If they don't put out those shitty albums, they might not have had to take their makeup. Yeah, I said it. I said it. I stand by it because I feel like that they had to take the makeup off because they had tarnished their image so fucking bad that even a killer record like Creatures of the Night couldn't resurrect it. Because sonically, there's no difference between Creatures and Lick It Up. I'm sorry. Same producer, same band, same lead guitars. Come on. Come on. Come on. You know
except that, come on. Look, Adam, you got to help me out here. Lick It Up had some thrash elements in it. I mean, they got really fucking.
They got heavier. They got heavier with Lick It Up. I'm not saying they didn't, but you're
that's
not gonna
true.
sonically, those two albums are sister albums. Just like
True.
Animalize and Asylum are sister albums.
But
and
like,
then you go even
Creatures has,
further,
like,
and
four
Crazy
bad
Nights and
songs.
fucking Hot in the Shade are shitty sister albums.
They're great.
Yeah. Shitty sister albums.
Great.
Well, I thought you said agreed. I'm like, that's right.
No, great.
Agree.
So, like, Creatures had like 4 good songs, and
Honestly,
I
Lick
think
It
you're
Up
insane.
Lick It Up had 1.
honestly,
And that's
no, go ahead,
what
Bushy.
Paul Stanley's trying to fucking rap. Street rocker, walked up, down, walking down the street, minding my own business. That's
Can I be honest?
man.
I kind of like that goofy song. I know it's
Oh,
fucking goofy
fuck
as
that
fuck,
shit.
but I get a kick
Like,
out
if
of
I
it.
would have hung up my Kiss boots, it would have been on that song.
Yeah,
And I could accept Axl Rose going, "You want to walk into my world?"
dude. All right. No, I hung up my Kiss boots when I fucking heard. Well, really, and I don't hate it as much now. But the first time I heard I Was Made for Loving You, me and my brothers were horrified. Just fucking horrified.
That's up there with one of my least.
Oh yeah, I hate that song.
I hated it.
That
Hated
sure
it when
knows
it came
something.
out.
I could play everything.
I like that song though. I like that song.
I like the unplugged version.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I take
Unplugged
that
is
back.
great.
I do like the unplugged version.
And it just goes
yes.
to show you how important production is, man. Because the other version is just so pussified, man.
Yeah.
You know, so again, I don't know, man, but I mean, this just quickly turned into a Kiss discussion, but you said it was the band that broke your cherry. So, all right, man.
What
so,
is if it wasn't for Kiss, I wouldn't be here right now.
all right.
honestly.
So, right on. Well, I think we can all say that.
Yeah.
I can say that, you know.
Well,
Yeah.
with-
So, even though Black Sabbath is my all time favorite band, Kiss is a very important band to me. They're right up there. They're right up there.
Yeah.
So, so you get into Kiss, man. You like Psycho Circus, you love it. Now where do you go from there? Like, what other bands, you know, you go from Kiss and
Hold on. Do you not dig Psycho Circus?
me?
Did you get caught up in the politics of it?
There's some songs I like,
Because
but I'm not gonna lie. When the record come out, hear me out.
On the way to you.
Can I fucking finish?
You, Kamala Harris? I'm speaking.
I'm talking.
Speaking. Well, Metal Mike just got fired.
All right, and the
I'm
new Metal Mike
cackling like
podcast
her
will be
right now, so
starting,
it's
and
okay.
all my listeners can listen to me there, where you know I rule. And anyway, no, all joking around aside, I told you before, I ain't leaving this podcast, not ever. I don't give a fuck if you fire me, I'll still show up.
Good. That's the kind of dedication I
I know, because nobody else cares. Oh, but
Hey, boom. That's our standing joke. Nobody listens.
pathetically subjective. Anyway,
I mean,
that always cracked me up though. What a fucking
Nick the Dick. Nick the
Even
Dick.
though I love
Adam, look,
we need to get Nick the Dick on.
Adam is a listener. He just said Nick,
Nick the Dick. Yeah.
Dick.
And here's the thing though, bro. That album, like right there, dude. Perfect example. Like that statement. I instantly meet when Bushy read the fucking review. I embraced it. I was like, dude, we need to make that our fucking tagline.
Yes.
I embrace it because yes, we are subjective. Like I know he meant it as a put down,
Yeah,
but I'm going
slam.
But I'm like,
We're not
bro.
Juilliard fucking musicians here, bitch.
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean? Like what podcast is objective? Name one. Name one.
Exactly.
We're not the fucking news. And let's be honest, the news and the media ain't even objective anymore. So get the fuck out of here with that shit, bitch. Nick the Dick. Fucking.
I love that you discover Kiss on fucking Mad TV. That Halloween special is great. I love Peter Criss stealing from the old Charlie Brown Halloween.
Yes.
Rock, but I like rock. You know, it was horrible. It was campy. It was everything I remember from Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. But from that, what makes you say, well, let me listen to this other kind of music? Okay, so I hear Kiss. Okay, so they're rocking. So I'm guessing, and I'm going to be very, not racist. I'm definitely going to, what's the word I'm looking for, Mike? I'm not trying to pigeonhole.
Stereotype?
I'm a stereotype, yeah. You're from the South, so you were listening to country, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not wrong because that's all people in the South do is listen to country, chew dip, and bang their fist. So,
well, I'll be honest with you. When I was a kid, I was just listening to what mom and dad were listening to in the
I'm
car.
so glad you said that. I said bang your sister. He said, well, I'm going to be honest with you.
My sister's pretty hot.
Nobody else.
Nah, TC's not related.
I am so sorry, Adam. I decided to drink because you're on the show tonight, and I haven't drank in 2 weeks. So
I remember a chick I
No, I'm glad you're drinking. I'm drinking some goddamn Voodoo Ranger hard tea. First time trying it.
Nice.
There was this gal I worked with. And
we're not listening to you, Metal Mike. Hush.
It's a fucking joke, man. It was about banging your sister. You'd like it, dude. Never mind. Fuck you. I ain't saying shit.
No.
Bitch. Anyway, there was a gal I was, it wasn't anything. It was kind of a flame. And we would bust each other's chops. And some of the girls at work are like, you guys are brothers and sisters, like brothers and sisters. And me and Amy got a kick out of that because we're like, oh, if you only knew. Well, one night we're making out, and I just said, I just want you to know, even if you were my sister, I'd still want to fuck you. And she was like, oh my God.
God damn.
But here's my question.
Bump.
Did she stop?
No.
Oh, yeah. You ran away from her, right?
Huh?
You ran away from her, right?
No, I banged the shit out of that, dude. It was a joke, dude. She laughed. She knew I was joking. It's not like I'm serious,
I'm so messing with you.
I know. But I mean,
Bushy, what are you drinking? Foster's?
Yeah. It's Australian for beer.
Okay.
I've actually asked real Australians. They say that's bullshit.
Well, of course it is. It's like America's thinking Heineken is good Dutch beer or Lowenbrau is good German beer. We get or what is they send it from Mexico that everyone fucking drinks? Corona. They send their shit to us. And everyone, oh, well, I'm drinking imported beer. That's like in North Carolina, I can get fucking Molson, which is some bullshit Canadian beer, and I want Labatt Blue, which is some good fucking Canadian beer, and I can't get it down here.
You can't get that up there?
No, can't find it in these.
We got that here.
Man, it's the best beer ever.
Well, you live in the sticks, dude. What do you expect?
So does he. That pisses me off.
I live in the sticks too, kind of.
So do I, technically.
Compared to Mike, he is out on his porch recording this because
I'm outside trying to get the best signal right now.
Yeah.
How's the weather out there down there, buddy?
Oh, it's nice, man.
Cool.
It's probably about 68 degrees.
Because one of the things I love to do late at night is look up in the sky and see all the stars. Fucking awesome. Especially when I've been smoking. So
Oh yeah.
Anyway, man. So okay, so you go
I
through
haven't done
Kiss.
that yet because I didn't want to sound too stupid up here, so I haven't smoked yet.
Hey,
But
you were coming on with us. You can be as stupid as you want.
That's right, and pathetically
You're
subjective.
not going to be any worse. Trust me.
And pathetically subjective, Adam. So you go from Kiss. You said you were, listening to a lot of music your mom, dad played. Fair enough. Same here. Um, but Kiss was like your band. It was your thing. Where did you go? Like
yeah,
what was the other what how did you get turned on to other, I guess, rock or metal acts? Like word of mouth, radio?
Especially the glammy stuff
uh,
because you are. I mean, you're what 15 years younger than I am. 17 years younger than I
well, that kind of happened recently, honestly.
Oh, you're listening
So
to
I
Big Bush
kind
Power Hour. I get it.
of, so like there was a few years I kind of like, man, I hate to even admit this, but
It's
I was kind of
okay.
in like the, I was in like the pop punk kind of scene for a
Okay.
while.
Early
And
Green Day
then
was
after,
good. That stuff's okay. Offspring.
nah, I fucking hate Green Day. Nah, I fucking hate Green Day.
Well, I only like.
I mean, honestly, some of these bands I was listening to, they were not as popular as Green Day, but
Like what?
anyway,
Steer, Blur, shit like that.
yeah, I like Blur. And what's funny about that is probably the last 2 or 3 years ago, I didn't realize that was the same dude that did Gorillas and shit like that.
Oh, the Gorillas?
um, yeah,
Aren't they that
that's
like
the dude from
fictional
Blur, right?
cartoon band or whatever? It's like a bunch of dudes though from different.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like a
pretty much
super
just the dude
group.
from Blur.
Yeah, actually like some of their songs, man. Like Feel Good Incorporated. Bum,
Oh
bum,
yeah, Clint
bum,
Eastwood.
bum, bum,
Um,
dun, dun, bum, ba, da, 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 dun. It's like, man, what I feel like Baloo in the Jungle Book where he's like,
I
what a
don't know
funky
what these
beat.
guys are talking
And
about.
he's like, I'm gone, man. Solid gone. Yeah, I do dig
all
some
right.
Gorillaz.
Well, I'll tell you this. So I think my resurgence of my Kiss fandom came back around like 2013, 14. I was just bored one day and I was reminiscing on like some of the old documentaries I used to see on VH1 and stuff. Like you remember Beyond the Makeup and When
Yes,
Kiss Ruled the World.
Those
yes,
were great documentaries, man.
yes.
Yes.
Very well done.
And then they had like I specifically remembered Extreme Close Up. They made like a TV version for VH1. It was hosted by Sebastian Bach. Do y'all remember that?
Yep.
Yeah, I do. I had the VH.
Dude, that was I had that recorded on like a VHS tape back in the day. I used to watch it all the time. And I started reminiscing on that and I was like, man, I'd love to like hunt those down and watch them again. And so I found this dude. He had a website and he said, just email me. I'll send you a list of what I have now. He had like a bunch of Kiss bootlegs and stuff like that. And not just Kiss, he had like a bunch of other shit, but he had those documentaries I was looking for. So I bought those, and before they could come into the mail, I remember looking up more stuff about Kiss bootlegs and stuff, and I discovered that was when I first discovered the Kiss podcast scene, which I didn't realize was so big. But the first one I discovered was Kiss FAQ. They had an episode specifically talking about bootlegs. And I was like, man, this is really cool. So it's like Julian Gill, his thing or whatever. And so I started kind of getting back into Kiss. And once that happened, I started going back through their whole catalog, listening to their stuff, and then I was like checking out other bands, and I think that's what restarted my fandom for that kind of music, honestly. Um, it's funny
Cool.
because real quick, this is off topic, but so every chat room I'm in, everybody calls me Adam NC, right?
Right.
Julian is the only one that calls me Adam North Carolina.
Huh. Oh, Julian Gill. Does he do a radio show?
Yeah. Well, they do the Kiss FAQ podcast. They do like a live version,
Oh,
like once
cool.
every 2 weeks or
That's a good podcast. My favorite Kiss podcast. Well, I thought the one that Ken Mills did was great. I
oh
can't remember what it's
yeah, that's a good
called.
one.
Was it
Him
podcast?
and Matt Porter.
Podcast, right? Wasn't that what it was called?
Yeah, podcast. Yeah,
And
yeah.
I mean, Ken was great. It's a shame he doesn't do it anymore because he actually one time said, I want to have you on one of my podcasts. And I'm like, fuck Podfather, it'd be an honor. Because I heard about Ken Mills because of Ralph and Ian, but also because one of my favorite Kiss podcasts, and they were great, man. And they finally called it quits because they literally covered just about every facet and era of the band. I mean, they took Kiss podcasting as far as you could take it, as far as I'm concerned. And that was
Mm-hmm.
history, science theater.
History Science Theater.
Those
Yeah,
guys,
yep,
Dez, Adam, and what was the other guy's name? They were fucking great, man. They were
yeah.
fun as hell.
That was a good podcast.
Oh, they were great, man. They would crack my Lee was the other guy. And
Yeah, yeah.
they were fucking hilarious because I remember that one time when they were talking about, man, just when Kiss are feeling good about themselves, Ace Frehley comes up from behind of him and gives him a fucking kick right in the nuts with his silver boots. And I'm dying, right? And they were talking about like crazy nights, and then Ace comes out with Frehley's comment. And, you know, Lee was trying to go, well, I don't know. I think Crazy Nights is a better album. And fucking Dez just goes off, really, Lee? Really? You're going to say that Turn on the Night is better than Rock Soldiers? You're going to say that? Oh, it was so fucking funny, man. And Adam, of course, was dying too. But yeah,
Hold on. I've never been posed that question. Crazy Nights better than
Fraley's comment.
Hard Agree.
Of course you would. Anyway,
Hard
of
Agree.
course you would. Yeah. Yeah.
Ace's best album.
Better than Fraley's comment.
Yeah.
No, fuck off. No way. Nope.
Easy.
Nope.
I'm not a huge fan of Fraley's comment.
I love that first record though,
I
man.
don't
Rock
like
Soldiers
that.
is a banger, man.
I don't like fucking Second Sighting. I fucking do Trouble Walk.
That one song, what is it called? Dogs. That really turned me off. That
Dolls is
was
terrible. That's the worst song on
yeah, yeah.
Dolls,
Dolls.
man.
That was terrible.
That's funny. Dolls is the one I like a lot.
See,
Jesus Christ!
why am I not surprised? God, man, your taste is in your anus.
Dude, that's the worst fucking song.
Love my dolls. You must believe me. It's plain as
No,
That's got his
no.
daughter singing that part too. It's kind of creepy to me. I'm like, what the fuck, man?
great.
And I know he wrote it for his little girl, so it's like, well, it's not a good song, man. But I mean, something
Better
moves.
than Brandon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, dude, compared to if you're gonna bring Motley Spoo into the fucking picture, dude, I can let me count the ways Kiss and associated Kiss albums are better than those guys. I remember when Nikki tried to say something, and I'm like, I'm sorry. He got in a debate with Gene Simmons, and I'm like, Gene wins this hands down. Overall, stronger discography. Yeah. Yeah, Kiss eventually lost their way, but look how many great records they put out before that happened. Motley Crue, 2 great records, and then it went off the rails. Get the fuck out of here, man. No contest. No contest. No contest. I'll take fucking any of the fucking from 74 to 78 Kiss albums over Motley fucking Spoo. Now, shout out to Devil. Fucking masterpiece. So it's so good, it defies logic that they actually did it. I'm with Edwin Canestracci. I'm kind of sus on that. I'm getting suspicious about Motley Crue. I wonder if Nicky even played on that record. I'm really getting suspicious about
Lord, go into the kitchen, grab some of your aluminum foil.
I fucking will. I will, and I'll wrap myself in that shit, dude, because I'm telling you, how a band makes a record like that, or even Too Fast for Love, and then puts out some schlock like fucking.
Come on, Theater of Pain's a great record.
Theater of Pain is not a great record. Theater of Pain is fucking mediocre at best. Theater of Pain has a few good songs, but then there's some songs where you're like, all right, they're going somewhere, but then they fuck it all up, like Save Our Souls with that sweet low, sweet chariot vocals. Get the fuck out of here, man. Because I actually like that song when it starts off with the almost like I'm like, dare I say Sabbathy doom metal riff? I'm digging this. And then all of a sudden, save all souls forever. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Oh, it ruined the fucking song. Ruined it. And that's what's
So great.
up about Motley Crue. There's some other good things on some of those albums where I'll be like, all right, that's kind of cool. And then they ruin it. Just fucking ruin it. Man. Like, okay, girls, girls, girls. Why couldn't every song be like Wild Side? Wild Side rules. And then it's all downhill after that. Dancing on glad.
Yes.
No, it's fucking terrible, man. It's like, oh,
Bad boy boogie.
yeah, terrible, terrible.
It's great.
Well, look, I'm here because I'm a fan of both of your shows, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, let's talk about some of the bands you guys introduced me to.
Oh shit.
Man, I mean, dude, I've seriously have a whole folder. Like when your shows would go on, I would like take screenshots of the now playing and just put them in a folder so I could go back and add to a playlist. But some of the ones I remember specifically, Bushy Degeneration. That was one of the first ones.
Isn't that the album we reviewed that, didn't we, Bush?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that
Yeah,
record, man. I did.
Yeah,
Bushy was like, hey, this is Undiscovered. I want you to listen to this, man. And I really enjoyed that record. That was a cool fucking
some
record.
good shit.
I saw that band open up for Kiss '96 on the reunion tour, dude, up in Ottawa, Canada. And
Damn.
dude, they blew me the fuck away because I thought it was a fucking
Damn, I bet that was awesome.
I didn't know they had a deal. And I was like second row center, but not quite center. I was a little left. And apparently that's where the fucking bass goddamn PA was. Because that punk drummer was just beating the shit out of my chest. And I was stone cold sober, man. It was my second wedding anniversary. I spent it at the Kiss concert because we were going through a divorce, you know. And man, they blew me the fucking away. You know, their stage presence. I've always been a punk fan anyway. And they had a punk vibe, a punk vibe with a very rock and roll feel. And their lyrics were just fucking cool, man. They were, I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
So badass, you dig that band.
One of the things I noticed about that record right off the bat, the first track, it just hooks you in. It's like, it's just got this cool beat to it. And it's just had that attitude. Yeah.
That's
I dug
it.
Yeah.
With, man, No Way Out is what they open with.
Yeah, that's
funny. Man,
yeah.
that's such an awesome
I can see
song,
why, because
man.
it's a banger. It's a fucking banger, and it totally
Yeah.
just like Deuce grabbed all of us the first time we heard it.
Yeah.
At least me and Bushy. I can't. Well, you too, Adam. You said that was the first
it did.
Kiss album that you heard. Yeah, and I'm telling you, man, Alive, fucking masterpiece,
hands down. Yeah,
the greatest Kiss album ever.
Yeah,
I said it. It's definitely better than fucking Crazy Nights, that's for sure. So moving on.
You're right.
Yeah. I know I am.
I'm not going to argue that ever.
I would hope not. I don't know though. Better in the elder. So anyway,
so Adam discovered the Mighty Degeneration because Bushy's fucking awesome.
Because of Bushy. Yep. And also this local band, Dirty Grass Soul.
Go see them in
Bushy introduced me to
them. That's my vacation.
They're fucking awesome, man.
Breaking your arm, patting yourself on the back there, Bush.
Dude, I'm going on a cruise to see them next fucking November with my girl. We're going now. Trace Adkins is the headliner, and all I know by him is that honky tonk badonkadonk song. And
oh shit!
And Metal Mike knows my donk talk. But I'm here to tell you, man, Dirty Grass Soul's playing that fucking cruise, and that's the whole reason I'm going. That band,
dude. Mike, have you ever heard that? Have you ever heard their cover of War Pigs?
Yeah.
Man,
Shit's
that
fucking
shit fucking
great.
rocks.
Yes. I've seen them do AC/DC because if you go to actually one of their actual shows, they'll play for 3 hours straight. They'll fucking throw in some Aerosmith, they throw in some AC/DC. I mean, they fucking rock out, but then they do their alternative country bluegrass thing, man. I love that band, Dirty Grass Soul,
Yeah.
out of Shelby, North Carolina. You can find their shit
Yep.
on YouTube. You can buy their stuff on Apple, iTunes Music, whatever you call it these days. Check that band out, man. I'm a fucking headbanger and I love Dirty Grass Soul. And I am 4 days away, 4 work days, a week and a half, but 4 work days away from going to see them again. Going to movie
Man, that's
theaters.
fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, I go twice a year, man. I see them twice a year. Fucking
Cool.
great.
Mike, you've turned me on to a lot of bands too, man. One of the main ones, the shirt you're wearing,
Haunt.
Haunt, one of my favorite bands to this day.
Nice. Nice.
I'd love to see
Um,
him live. He tours, but they never seem to come around the Midwest, man. So it's like, you know, I might have to make a road trip
dude, what
or
sucks, they
trip.
were like 2 hours from me, like a
Oh,
month ago. I couldn't go though because of
yeah, they're a
fucking
great
work.
band. I love Haunt, but then as I said, I'm a huge fan of his other band, Beastmaker, too. That's how I got turned
Beastmaker.
on to him. Beastmaker opened for Zach Sabbath. Right there's my
Ah, that's
poster.
cool.
Here, I'll show you real quick.
That's
Right
cool.
there with the nun. What? See her? Well, wait a minute. Let's see.
Hey,
Right there.
yeah, we see fake Sabbath.
Yeah, it's fucking badass, dude. I'll tell you what, if anybody's gonna fucking do a Sabbath cover band, Zach can do it. He was fucking amazing. He's been Ozzy's guitarist for years. He's carrying on the legacy. Fuck off. He doesn't call it Black Sabbath. It's Zach Sabbath, and it's
And
fucking awesome.
look, I'm about to sing Zach some praises. If anybody can get close to the tonality of Ozzy's vocals, it's Zach motherfucking Wild.
Well, that's Ozzy even said that one of the reasons why they took him was not just because he was an amazing guitar player, but if you see Ozzy live, especially nowadays, Zach helps with a lot of the vocals. That their voices harmonize really good together, and he was
He,
always doing backing vocals
he
for
could
Ozzy.
get into that because Ozzy doesn't have a high register, but he always sang high, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, yeah, that
Yeah,
is like a whale.
but when Zach sings high, he sounds just like Ozzy. Now, Zach has this ungodly bassy tenor voice
Mm-hmm.
that's just fucking brilliant.
Yeah, Zach can sing in different styles and pull
Yeah.
both off, you
Yeah.
know. But yes, he definitely can channel the inner Ozzy, as I
Oh,
call
yeah.
it. And also I one of the reasons why Zach's probably my second favorite guitarist of Ozzy's. I'm talking solo Ozzy,
Yeah.
Ozzy's band.
Of course, after the late, great Randy Rhoads.
Yes. But I love
Yeah.
Zach the best because to me he sounded always I'm like, this is Tony Iommi meeting Randy Rhoads.
Yes.
And he even said those were two of his biggest influences. So it's like, well, it makes sense because I'm like, I hear Tony, but I also hear Randy. And I'm like, what's not to like? I mean, talk about a surefire formula for success,
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I love Haunt because, well, even Beastmaker, but I loved Haunt because instantly I was like, well, this reminds me of, and that's what he was going for. It's part of the whole new wave of traditional heavy metal. They're very, new wave of British heavy metal sounding. Like they sound like they could have came from that time period.
I don't think
Yeah.
I've ever
Yeah.
listened to one of their albums. I know you sent it to me.
You need to check them out, Bushy. You'd love them. I know you would, man. They're really, really good. Especially with you. You love a lot of melodic stuff. You would be all about it. But and twin guitars, they kind of remind me of like Angel Witch, a bit of some Maiden with like Thin Lizzy thrown in there too, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely,
I can
man.
see
'Cause
that.
I played some Angel Witch a while back for on the show, and Adam was like, "Oh, bro, I can totally hear the influence of that on Haunt." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, dude, that first Angel Witch, 1980, greatest year in heavy hard rock and heavy metal. That first Angel Witch album is fucking amazing, man. Great, great stuff. And Haunt's a great band, so I'm glad I was able to turn you on to it. I mean, that's why I do what I do is like, it's
Yeah.
like, hey guys, check this out, check this band out, check that out. Cause it's not all about, I mean, obviously I play a lot of legacy acts, but I also try to play new bands too, because well, them more than anybody need the exposure, you know. It's like our former colleague and still friend, Sarah, man, she does a whole show at TMS that's just all about the underground.
Yeah.
She's
There's no popular shit out there. No radio shit.
No, it's all underground. They may have a record deal, but it's all out bands that are and that's great. And it's
She's
great that
turned
she
me
does a
on to
show
a
like
lot of
that.
shit.
Oh yeah, same here. Same here, man. She's turned me on to a lot of cool stuff. So yeah,
Also responsible for making one of the greatest fucking promos ever.
that was hilarious. That was a funny
Ever.
promo, man.
That's
I
gonna be
know
my
what you're talking about.
That was
yeah.
great. Great
That's
stuff.
going to be my biggest problem is going to another station. I can't play that promo anymore, and it's fucking glorious. Big shout out to Sarah. It was for my birthday.
She's got a she's got a very sexy voice.
She sure does, man. Hey, you know what? Sarah is a sweetheart, man. I hope she knows that even though I'm no longer part of TMS, I still love her. You know, I'm still part of the TMS family. I always will. I mean, look how many of us are there now,
Yeah.
you know, at Cranium. I mean, now Scott Green has joined Cranium now. So, and he was the guy that started TMS. So, yeah, we're really excited about some of the stuff we're going to do together. And even though Bushy's going to be at another station, there's a certain show we're resurrecting, and Bushy was part of it.
From
And
the
what's cool
best
about it is I don't
yeah.
think what's the guy from A to Z Radio? Bill, is that his name?
Yeah, Bill Elam and Alan Tate.
Yeah. Bill, I don't think is gonna mind because this show's totally different than what the Power Hour is.
Not only
Which
that, I'm not doing a show over there. I'm sitting in on something.
right, you're
Yeah,
part of a show. You're one of the panelists, so to speak. You know,
yeah.
I mean, it really is. Really, at the end of the day, it was Scott's baby. It was
Yeah.
his idea. It was a great idea, and we had so much
So,
fun doing it.
can we just come out with it or
Sure, why not, man? We're going to be bringing. I don't know exactly when it's going to be coming out for sure, but we are going to be bringing back Nights of the Turntable. This is a live radio show we used to do at TMS,
yes?
and I'm hoping what we can do is. I know Jeff's wanting to do it because he wants to bring as many listeners to Cranium as he can. So he definitely wants, you know, people to come to listen to it and be in the chat room. I'm all well with that. Totally cool with that. I do think though, not right away, but eventually, maybe like a month, a few weeks, whatever time period is, we should start posting episodes up to where if people want to listen to past episodes, they can. Like I said, not right away, you know, I guess kind of stockpile episodes, so to speak, before we put it out as a podcast. But that's what I think we should do. That's just my 2 cents. I don't know though. Ultimately, that'll be up to Scott and and Jeff.
Yeah. Yeah. Nights at a Turntable was a 3-hour live radio show on Sundays. And that was rough for me because I had to do my show at 9 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
I started my show. So I would have to be at what 10 or 11 we started that show?
Yeah, it was fairly early.
Yeah, it was me, you, Jeff, and Scott, and it was just a talk show. We would talk about metal news. There was Would You Rather, which
that was always funny as hell though. And we would bust each other's chops and get into some pretty interesting debates about certain bands or eras of a band, and it was just a lot of fun, man. Like,
with brilliant 20-minute music breaks. I mean,
yeah, and we would play music in between, man.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. And I remember there's a long time listener. He's been a long time listener of Cranium and TMS, Eric Allen Griffin. Even just a few months ago, he would tell Jeff, "Oh, you guys were amazing. I just wish there was some way you'd all get back together." And at the time, Jeff was just like, "Dude, I don't think it's going to happen, man. We've all moved on. We're doing this now. I'm, and but here we are, man. So it goes to show you, that I think that
Time heals all wounds.
there's that, and the fact that we had so much fun doing that show. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, at that point in time, TMS was at its strongest. We were at our strongest at that time period because we had you, we had me, we had Walt, we had Jeff, we had Ralph, we had Ian, we had Psycho Sin, we had
Matt,
Dr. Evil, we had Mac, we had some great, my nephew Kane, we had a stable of great DJs there, man, that were just killing it.
we were there every fucking week. Nobody ever missed a show back then.
No,
It was all just metal until my birthday.
Yep. So anyway,
And
so
Adam,
basically,
if I can
besides Haunt, what other amazing bands have I turned? Okay, go ahead.
hold on. Adam, if I can ever grab that birthday show off of that hard drive I have, I'll send you that birthday show of mine. It was fucking glorious because I was at my girlfriend's house at the time, and we had been drinking since like 9 o'clock in the morning. The show went on at 9 o'clock at night, and Scott, he's like, Bush, because at that time there was some dissension in the ranks. And but he says, like, Bushy, man, you've been here, you're fucking loyal. Play whatever the fuck you want. So the gloves were off. And we had such a good time. My girls in the background talking shit, man. I even played the Muppets on that show. It was so much.
Oh shit.
But it was like the Muppets doing fucking Bohemian Rhapsody. No, it was a hilarious show, and the on mic banner was hilarious. If I can get all my shit off my hard drive, I'll send you that.
Dude, I would love to hear that. Yeah.
It's one of the
I would love to
funniest
hear
shows
that.
I've ever done.
That's awesome, dude. What I was going to ask you, Adam, is besides the amazing Haunt, what other awesome bands have I turned you onto?
Man, 1781.
Local band, yeah.
Love that band. I think I
They're
messaged
working on
them
an
on
album. They're working on an album, and when they release it, we're going to try to do a live show and have them on here on the Metal Mike show.
yeah, I remember I messaged them on Instagram and I told them that you guys introduced me to them. They're like, "Yeah, we love Metal Mike," and so that
I,
was cool.
I got to credit Bill though with as much about that because it was Bill who turned me on to him and said, "Man, there's this local band, dude. You need to check them out." And he knew he knows them, so Bill's got much closer relationship to him than I do. But anytime I've ever met him, they've always been like, "Thank you for playing our music. Thank you for supporting the St. Louis scene." And I'm like, "Dude, of course. I wish I could do more. Of course,
Yeah,
I have a day job,
yeah.
but all right,
And then some female lead stuff. Ruby the Hatchet,
Nice.
dude. They were in town like 2 or 3 months ago, and I
man, I would
missed them
love to see
sadly.
Ruby the Hatch. I don't think they've ever come to St. Louis though, man. But if they do, I'm there. That's another that might be another road trip Daddy got to make because they are fucking badass. Man, I love me some Ruby the Hatchet.
And then dude, like I said, I have like a whole folder of just like screenshots I've taken of the now playing screen that you guys have played, and so stuff I could add to a playlist or whatnot. But
It's awesome. I appreciate that.
yeah, man. I've always been a big fan of live radio shows, man. Even when I was a kid, I used to call in and request songs like to the local radio shows and stuff. And I just thought it was so cool. They play the song, and then not only that, you get to hear your voice on the radio and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yep,
I've just always been a huge fan of that format, man. And unfortunately, it's rare now.
yeah,
I
it
mean, you
is.
pretty much only got the internet shows and stuff now, but
Well, I think that internet radio is the FM radio of
it
today. It,
is.
it
It
is very
is.
much almost pirate, very because we're not constricted. I mean, we're constricted in the things we can play, like we can't play more than a certain amount of tracks by the same artist within an hour. And I think they
Right.
do that shit on
Right.
purpose because they're fucking afraid of internet radio. I'm going to come right out and say it. I think they're terrified of us. I think satellite radio and terrestrial radio, which even satellite radio is scared of us.
Yes, and the nice thing
Yeah.
about internet radio is you're not FCC fucking regulated. You can say whatever the fuck you want to say, do whatever you want to do, but you're beholden to the license.
Yes. Oh yeah.
That's the problem.
Yep. And
That's the problem.
they are much more strict with us than they are terrestrial radio,
Yes.
I'm sure.
satellite radio.
Yeah.
You know, so but that's okay. We find ways around it. I
Yes.
do it. I do it every week.
We all
without
do
belief.
it. We all
Yeah. So fuck you.
Well,
it's very
I was gonna say
to
you
play
always.
music. You're not supposed to be playing, and you just change some metadata a little bit, and
Yeah.
man, you've got that shit on the air.
Yeah. I don't even, yeah. There's a lot of different things you can do. But yeah, I think one of the bands I played that you really liked a lot was They Watch Us from the Moon, Adam.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you were like, man,
Love
dude,
that
really,
band too.
yeah, they're really
Yeah.
great too, man.
That's
Well, and again, man, it means the world to me when people are like, hey, dude, you turned me on to this. Well, hey, man, that's what
right.
it's all about. But you know what? People have turned me on to cool shit. Even I'll have listeners, hey, you, Adam, have done that. They'll send me something and I'll be like, oh, cool, you know. Stats, there's been a lot of people that have sent me music, man, and I appreciate that. There are some people that
I was
submitted
about to
music.
say, yeah. I've tried to turn you guys on. One of the funniest things I can remember though was one night I sent you a Glassjaw song. You remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah.
And your brother, Metal Mark, or Metal, Metal Mark.
Well, there's Metal Mark
Um,
Scapegoat.
no, it was Metal Mark. So you played the song, which you always do, which I appreciate. I appreciate
Of
that.
course, dude.
You played it and you were asking everybody what they thought about it, and Metal Mark was like, "I think it sucked dick."
Good old Marky, man. He don't fucking,
That was funny, man.
yeah, he's so sweet though. But yeah, it's like I
But
was
dude,
kind of shocked. I
I
was like, damn,
requested it
Mark.
because I requested it because they kind of remind me of like what's their fucking name? Um God damn.
You mentioned them.
Deftones. I don't know why I couldn't
Deftones.
I don't know why I
Yeah,
couldn't think of Deftones. Yeah.
yeah.
They kind of
Um,
remind me of them. They
Oh,
have
I
um,
a
know why
similar.
you couldn't think of Deftones.
here's one thing though. I wanted to get back to the
Do you
Hanson
guys
thing.
like horses?
I've never heard him say anything like that. I think you were drunk and thought it was somebody
I
else.
was stone cold fucking sober.
All right. So anyway, moving on.
You like horses?
Yeah, for your Deftones hate.
Godsmack blew him off the fucking stage.
Godsmack fucking
Metal
suck.
Mark did not like Glassjaw though, I can tell you that.
Yeah, Godsmack are nothing but fucking Alice in Chains wannabe band. Anyway, so let's move on.
Godsmack, not Alice in Chains. Go figure.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, maybe you ought to go back and listen to Alice in Chains since they're much
But
better.
dude, Metal Mike,
Yes, sir.
Bushy needs to check out Black Joe Lewis.
Yes, I think Bushy would love Black Joe Lewis. Pretty sure I've
I
sent
think you would
Bushy
too.
some of his
Black
stuff,
Joe
but
Lewis.
we'll never know now.
I love Black Joe Lewis. That shit's like this. Oh, it is.
Bitch, I love you. Fucking great.
Dude, that's what's so funny. So like it was like 2013 or 14 before this guy was really big. Gary Clark Jr. He's pretty big name now. I found out about him from some random radio station out of Fort Worth, Dallas. I think it was KXT or something like that. Anyway, they played him a lot, and so I pulled up his radio station on Spotify, and it was playing a bunch of his songs. And then next thing I know, this song comes on. It's like, "Bitch, I love you." I was like, "Wait a minute, what is this?" And it was
Yeah.
fucking Black Joe Lewis, man. And
He
I
is
fell in love.
awesome, man. So anytime you ask me, I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, dude, because
And I appreciate that. Yeah.
Well, you got to look at the way I
'Cause
look
I
at it
know
like
it's not
this.
metal or it's not even hard
Well,
rock.
no,
Dude, I love the blues so much.
but hey,
Metal
without the
Mike said it.
blues, there is no metal.
Yeah, no rock and roll,
Now
nothing.
that I'm at Cranium, I'm allowed to even kind of experiment a bit more. As I said, I usually
Yeah.
stick with the hard rock and the metal because, like I said, it's the Metal Mike show, you know. But we had a DJ at TMS, and I would love for him to unretire his. He's hung up his microphone, as he calls it. Good friend of mine has a great podcast. Me and Bill have been frequent guests on. Damn Good Movie Memories.
Yes.
Brian Davis, great guy,
Oh yeah, I love that dude. I
amazing
love
human
that
being.
podcast.
Great
And
blues
he
show.
did a
Yeah.
show for us called The Bad Beat, which he used because his name's Brian Anthony Davis. So so it was his initials, and the bad beat is a poker term where you have a great hand and you think you're gonna win, and then the motherfucker fucking has just one that's a little bit better than yours. You got a straight flush, they have a royal straight flush, or whatever it is, the bad beat. And he said because I'd asked him a long time ago, because there was an episode he had done, I think had something to do with Halloween. And he had played this radio show that he had recorded that he did when he was in college. And I was like, man, this guy does he's got good mic presence. He knows his shit. So finally, I was like, hey, bro, how about becoming part of the fam, man? Why don't you join TMS? And at first he's like, well, I got the pie. I don't know. I don't think I'd have time, Metal Mike. All right, cool. Fair enough. About 6 months roll by, and out of the blue, he goes, hey, dude, I was thinking about doing a blues-based hard rock and metal show, man. What do you think? I'm like, fuck, dude, you're in like Flynn, and let's make it on like fucking Donkey Kong. And he was one of the most consistent DJs I ever had at that station when I was there. I mean, Brian was fantastic, and I would love for him to come to Cranium. But he's adamant about, and that's cool, But now that we got Scott Green, man, I'm gonna try to be like, hey, Ian, which I don't think Ian will be able to do it just because that guy hardly has enough time to do a podcast, let alone, because his work schedule is insane. But I do want to hit Ralph up. I wouldn't mind hitting Edwin Canistracci and Eric Jordan about doing a show, either together or separately. I think, because with Edwin, especially because he's got a very eclectic taste in music. I mean, he loves metal, but he loves all kinds of stuff. And with Cranium, you can do that. You have that freedom. So that's one thing I do love about being part of Cranium, is because if I wanted to do a fucking blues show, like a separate from them, I could do that, I could do
Yeah.
a lot of it. And I love the blues. I mean, I love classical music. Both those are hugely influential on metal. And I've had people try to argue with me. I'm like, bitch, fucking listen to fucking Diary of a Madman and tell me that you don't. I mean, literally that
I
whole
definitely
intro,
would do a classical show.
that whole fucking intro and everything. Literally, it's when Ozzy first heard Randy doing something, he's playing. It was fucking Mozart, and Ozzy busted in the room. This is his autobiography. We're fucking nicking that, Randy. Ozzy, you can't nick Mozart. I don't care. We're gonna fucking do it. He goes, now he said, obviously Randy did enough with it and changed it enough to where you wouldn't even really know it was Mozart anymore. But it was Mozart that inspired that, and then you can just hear it, like in the way Randy played his style, that neoclassical, which other guitar players like uh Yngwie Malmsteen. And I think a guitar player who was in the 70s that was very influential in that was probably Richie Blackmore. You could hear some of the classical music influences.
Let's say Richie Blackmore, yeah.
Yeah, especially on Rainbow. Those first 3 Rainbow records are fucking amazing. But anyway, I do want to thank you, Adam, for coming on, man. And I'm so happy that we were able to turn you on, because really it's all what it's all about. From DJ, podcaster to listener, because like I said, the listeners have sent me cool shit where I'm like, man, I really dig this. I'm gonna have to do a deeper dive on this, man. And I know Bushy feels the same way.
Oh, I'm happy we have a fan.
Yeah, right.
We
Yeah, I know,
I
right?
appreciate
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
having me
I
on.
mean, right,
at least one of our 12 downloads every week.
right. Yeah. I mean, look, I think that one of the things, if we want more numbers, we just need to be more consistent, and we've been working on that.
That was
So,
a great joke. You don't have to explain yourself all the time, Mike. You fuck up the joke.
well, it wasn't that funny. I'm not a numbers whore, though. I don't give a fuck if we have one number or a billion numbers. I mean, don't get me wrong, it'd be cool, but I don't. That's not why I do this. I'm flattered, totally flattered and honored that anybody would want to hear me flap my fucking gums for any period of time. So thank you.
Exactly. And then come on our show to listen to us flap our
Right. And I want to have other listeners come on from time to time. So, I mean, but Adam, you've been such a loyal listener to not just me, but to Pushy as well. I feel like you had to be the first, so
Man,
thank
I
you for
appreciate
coming
that.
on,
I
brother.
really do. I
Yeah.
really do.
Well, like I said, brother, I mean, seriously, dude, you're my boy, man. And I know Bushy feels the same way. And we
yeah,
feel
yeah. You have to understand that we don't do this because we make money.
fuck no.
And that's both internet radio and the podcast. We actually lose money on the podcast, because we're paying for it every month. We don't have numbers. We can't do all that. So, we're really excited and honored that you wanted to come on with us when we asked you. And it was Metal Mike's idea. He's like, "Hey, man, Adam NC, let's grab him." And I'm
I mean,
like,
I don't know what we're gonna call give the title, because I try to do titles for each type of episode we do. Like what if or nerdgasms or retrospective or whatever it is that we do. Um, undiscovered gems, which those are a lot of fun. We need to do one of those again.
yeah,
The retrospectives take a bit of work though, because it's like this one next Megadeth one. I'm not looking forward to a lot of it because it's going to be an era of the band I'm not real big on. But at the same time,
it's going to be
I
great because I'm super familiar. Sierra, after that, I'm gonna have a problem.
but the good thing about it is maybe I'll feel differently. I mean, tastes do change. Something that you're like, man, I don't fucking, I mean, I wish I could say that I was awesome and recognized the brilliance of Merciful Fate right away. No, King Diamond's voice freaked me the fuck out. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? But
Got it
a
right
little
away.
time passes and I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. It's like once I got I've always been that way with certain things. Like, well, what is this new sound I have to take in, and do I like it or not? I was that way with thrash metal. I mean, fuck, before when I heard Metallica kill them all, dude, the fastest I heard was Motorhead. I thought that was the fastest you could get. And then
Yeah,
I hear this shit and I'm like, whoa, what in the fuck is this shit, man? But then, about 6 months later, I'm all about it, so
trickle Motorhead is the only thing fast as the drums and bass. The guitars aren't nearly as fast as the drums and bass.
no, but yeah, it's that rhythm section that's going a million miles an hour, man. But you got to give Motorhead credit. They were definitely right along with Merciful Fate, even huge influence on thrash metal. Huge. Like all the thrash metal guys loved Motorhead and Merciful Fate.
Yeah, Merciful
So
Fate.
even though you have your bands like Iron Maiden that definitely sold more records, I would argue that Merciful Fate in their own way and Motorhead were just as influential, especially on your thrash metal and your extreme metal. I don't think you can argue that.
Would not argue that at all.
What do you think, Adam?
Um, I'm sorry, I had to take a piss, so I tuned
Ah,
out for a little bit.
oh, that's great. Hey,
But
honesty is the
hey, I
best
appreciate
policy.
you guys having me on. That means a lot, honestly. And it's funny because y'all are the only two I really kind of gravitated toward your shows. Other than there was like two more I kind of branched out and this dude, he's a lot younger than me, I think, but dude, so knowledgeable about music. Sam, DJ Sam, Sam's Rock
Again,
and Metal Odyssey. I hope
Sam,
I hate he's not doing a radio show now,
Yeah,
but
Sam West. I still talk to him.
yeah, Samuel
that
is a
dude's
great
so
guy.
cool, man.
He's a great kid. He again was one of my proudest acquisitions when I was at TMS, and
Yeah,
I got him. You know, I kind of turned Jeff onto him. It's just that I guess he's got a lot going on in life, or he just got burned out. I mean, me and Sam have even talked about it because see, you got to remember when I didn't join Cranium right away. I took some time off, man. you know,
Right.
and to
Yeah.
me, I think I was better off for it. I think the show is better off for it. And that's what really blew me away, was because I I didn't know if my listeners would. I mean, I was off for like 4 or 5 fucking months, man. I didn't come back right.
Yeah.
Bam. First show, my chat room's full. I mean, that meant the world to me. Not only that, but when I had people saying, please don't quit. I mean, I literally had people message me, don't quit, Metal Mike, don't quit, which I was like, well, I'm not going to totally quit. Like I told Bushy at the time, my plan was to just double down, triple down on podcasting. And
Yeah.
I guess now I'm just going to maybe, well, we're doing this. I don't know if nights will ever become, it might just be a live show only. I don't want to speak. I don't want to presume anything. I would like to have the best of both worlds if I could with that show, because I think it would make a great podcast as well. But be that as it may, it's because of guys like you, Adam, that I decided to do it. And Jeff, I mean, he just literally gave me, I know it was like the Godfather, but the guy gave me an offer I couldn't refuse. And I was kind of taken back by it because I hadn't talked to Jeff for quite some time. I didn't think Jeff and I were on friendly terms anymore. So when he started reaching out to me, it kind of blew me away. But he always was like, no, Mike, he goes, I did unfriend you, but it wasn't because of you. It was Walt had joined TMS and I just had to separate myself from all of it for a while. He's like, I'm over it. I have no grudges against anybody. And to Jeff's credit, he's reached out to several people, man, so um I love Jeff, and I just want to thank him for the opportunity, man, because he was like, dude, I'll even keep Friday. You can have the same Friday nights. I'll keep it open for you for as long as you want. You take as much time off as you want. Well, fuck, man.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, dude, and the more I started thinking about it, the more I'm like, you know what? Why not? And I'm glad I did. It's the second best
Yeah.
decision
Well,
I ever made.
I'm
Besides,
glad you're back, brother.
second
And
best
I'll be
decision I ever
glad when,
made, besides joining TMS and doing all this shit in the first place. Well, no, then my
yeah.
other best decision was joining the plug.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're back, brother, and I'll be happy when Bushy's back on the airwaves too.
And
Um,
I will be so happy, but I appreciate that so much.
and I would be before we end this, I gotta give a shout out to Mark Alden Taylor. His was the other show I really kind of dug on that metal station, the Freeform Rock show.
So you're the one.
So I got to give a shout out to him too. Do what?
Look, Metal Mike.
I'll say this for Mark, because I know some people have some, Mark, and I know Mark would probably agree with me on this. He's a friend of mine. I love Mark to death. Um, uh, he's been through some controversies. I'll just say that. But you know what? The thing I admire about Mark the most, number one, man, when he was part of TMS, again, one of my most consistent DJs, never missed a show.
Yeah.
Never. And if he did, he would let you know way ahead of time, hey, man, I'm not going to do it. And then a lot of times, and even we do that at Cranium. Like I think this Friday, I went to see Glenn Hughes, which was amazing, by the way. And Scott and Jeff both filled in for me. So I love that. I love that camaraderie and that teamwork. Like, hey, man, we're not going to let the listeners down. Even though Cranium has an auto DJ, and the way Jeff does it is very creative. Like he'll actually have shit lined up in the auto DJ. Like he'll have certain hours of certain kinds of music and stuff. It's really, really cool what he does.
Nice.
But it meant the world to me that you guys, that what I did mattered. It mattered to you guys, man. And that just, again, I just want to thank you, Adam, from the bottom of my heart to all our listeners and everybody who is entertained by the plug, our radio shows, whatever we do, man. Thank you so much. And again, thanks to Ralph and Ian and Scott and Bill Wayne for the inspiration and making it all possible in the first place. And of course, Jeff for giving me the opportunity he has at Cranium. I love you guys, man.
Promised myself I wasn't going to get upset about this.
But seriously, man, you fucking rule, Adam, and I can't wait to meet you, man. And you're very knowledgeable about music, so
It was awesome talking to you guys, man.
Hey, man, and you know we'll have you back again. Next time we'll have you on for a real, actual subject besides yourself.
And
Yeah, maybe we
I
can
don't
do a
like talking.
maybe we could do a Kiss retrospective. It'd probably be like fucking 100 episodes long.
Jesus, I've already done that with James West. It was 4.5 hours long.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you blew your wad. Way to go, Bushy. I
Great.
love James West though. There's another fantastic individual, man. James rules. Ralph and Ian rule. Samuel Wetz rule. Y'all rule. Everybody, even if I'm fucking forgetting, so Adam Marshall, you fucking rule.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah,
No,
I appreciate everybody.
when Metal Mike said, "Hey, let's get Adam on," I was like, "Yeah, man, that makes perfect sense," because you're not internet known so much. You've showed up in Decibel Geek Live, you've been on our radio shows and such, but you're not controversial on the web at all. Like you barely show up in the feed. It's every once in a while you show up in my Facebook feed. And I'm not saying that to be a dick. I'm just saying you're very low key. You keep it to yourself, man. But what you like, you like. What you love. And if you support somebody, you support it. And it means a lot to dumb assholes like me and Metal Mike that just sit behind the damn computer and spin music because like, maybe they'll dig this. But there's other times like, no, motherfucker, I like this song. So I'm gonna play this one. And you respond, and we've turned you on to stuff. You've turned us on to stuff. It's an amazing thing, and it lets you know that man, music heals everything. You can like your own
Yeah.
and go, I'm not going to understand it, but
Right.
like it's cool. I don't understand Oasis. I don't understand fucking Rush. I don't understand the Beatles. It's okay. There's millions of fans that do, and that's what's important.
But here's the great thing, all of us here, and even like again, Boingo Boingo. So Mark, I know you're gonna listen. But what's weird about Mark is even that there's things he likes that I agree with, or like I'm like right there with you, dude. You know,
Or
like when he said that, and I'm right there with him that Queensryche Operation Mindcrime is one of the greatest albums, not just concept albums, but metal albums ever. I agree 100 fucking% with him on that. You
really
know,
good.
there's a lot of times Mark says things where I'm like, yeah, I see that, man, or I agree with that. Like I told him that before. I'm like, dude, honestly, if you want to boil it down, I think we agree more than we disagree. But I will say this though, he had made a comment about Crazy Nights and saying, well, I listened to it for the first time and I loved it. And I said, my condolences. But what's great about Mark
Oh, he
is
gets it. It's a great kiss out.
yeah, I can say that, and he's not going to get butt hurt by it or pissed. He knows that at the end of the day, hey, that's great that you love Crazy. Hey, awesome. You know, like that is cool, you know. Um, like I said, I think where I felt bad for Paul, especially considering the fact that he sung his ass off on that album, was it didn't really pay the dividends they were hoping. Like, yeah, it went platinum, but it didn't go multi-platinum. It didn't do what, like I said, when Aerosmith did what they did. And you know, it's been noted that Paul Stanley especially is jealous of Aerosmith. Because at one point in time in the 70s, those two bands, while there was respect for each other, there was a competition. Who was the better American hard rock metal band? And for me at the time, it was Kiss. I loved Aerosmith. Don't get me wrong. I love those 70s. Still do to this day. But I was a Kiss guy. In the 80s, though, Aerosmith kicked their fucking ass. There's no denying it. As far as like, I'm
Not
not talking on a musical level,
not
Bushy. I'm
until
talking
permanent
about
vacation.
success. Bro, I guarantee you look it up, man. Every one of those fucking albums sold multi-platinum. I'm not talking about musical. I'm talking on a commercial level. They
Okay,
kicked the shit out of Kiss. Okay.
I would have to look
Sorry.
that up. But let's get out of here. Adam, everybody that comes on, you get to plug something. Is there anything you want to promote? What have you been listening to? What have you been watching? What have you been reading? Because yeah, we do that too, because we're fucking nerds.
Man,
Take a plug.
what I've been watching, um, god damn. I watch a lot of comedy shit, so I'm big into Danny McBride shit. I don't know if y'all are into it or not, but the Righteous Gemstones.
Never heard of
Have
it.
you ever watched that?
That's something that's on my list to watch. I've got like a watch list for every one of my fucking
Abs.
apps and streaming services. I have like, oh, that looks interesting. I'm gonna,
Well, see, I've been trying to rewatch it because the new season I think is going to come out beginning of next
and
year.
I think Danny McBride is fucking hilarious, dude.
And I just met Walton Goggins, who
What
plays
was that
Uncle Baby
like?
Billy.
What's he like, dude? Was he cool?
Dude, he's the nicest dude ever, man.
Did you
He's
ask
so
him?
cool.
Did you ask him why he tried to kill Santa Claus?
No, I
That's a
didn't.
Fat Man
But
joke. Greatest Christmas movie ever.
A good
that
fucking
is a
movie,
good
man.
Christmas movie. That is a good Christmas movie. I did ask him because I heard he was a huge fan of the Andy Griffith Show. So I asked him what his favorite episode was, and he told me. I was like, "Yeah, the haunted house. That's one of my favorites too, because I like horror themed stuff, man. Even like going back to the Three Stooges, I like the Scary Stooge episodes. Um, dude, we could talk about that all night long.
Well,
but
hey, one of my favorite cartoons as a kid, the Disney was the Ghost Chasers with Mickey and Donald and Goofy, where they're in the haunted house. And those
yeah,
ghosts are fucking with them. I love that.
yeah.
Halloween was my favorite holiday of the year, followed closely by Christmas and Thanksgiving. I've always loved Halloween. I've always loved, now the horror I like is more of your supernatural stuff, vampires, werewolves, demonic possession. I mean, don't get me wrong, I give Halloween its due because it was a game changer.
So
But
you like Twilight and shit like that?
I hate fucking Twilight.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, brother.
No, I hate Twilight. I mean, you know what though? At first, I was like, okay, I was watching with my mom because she loved those books, and my
Yeah.
mom loved Dark Shadows and that kind of. That's how I became a Dark Shadows fan. This hokey fucking late '60s, essentially daytime soap opera, but with fucking vampires and werewolves. But it was the story that hooked me. But when the fucking vampires and his skin started glittering in the sun, I'm like, Mom, I love you, but I'm out. I'm out. They lost me right there. It was like, because I
Yeah.
dig that kind of stuff. But yeah, Twilight was a big hell no when I'm like, really? Like, really? Like, that is so, well, I don't want to say it, but it's pretty lame.
We talked about it last week, is why I didn't want to see the Batman, but it's probably the greatest Batman film ever.
I just rewatched that, and you guys have to check out The Penguin.
Oh, dude, amazing.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I want to check that out.
Oh,
I want to
Adam,
check that out.
you gotta watch it, dude. It's fucking phenomenal. Dude.
It's good. Good
Oh,
stuff.
it's so good.
I look like fucking Colin Farrell.
You know what? I would never know it was him if they didn't tell you.
That's what I'm saying.
Swear,
Yeah.
man, that guy is a great actor. He's a fucking chameleon. I mean, when I found out that was him, like I'd heard he was going to play the Penguin, but I'm like, really, Colin Farrell? Like, well, how are they going to do it? And then when I seen him in the preview, I'm like, that's Colin Farrell.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Man. But it's so cool that
I
he's
love
like,
the fact you don't know that it's him and that it's so fucking 1940s fucking Al Capone gangster.
yeah, but that's what the
Yeah.
Penguin
Shit.
was when he first started. They again, it was like these characters have been around for so long, they kind of got away from that, but then they brought it back. Like he is the kingpin of Gotham in the comics. He is the guy that runs the underworld, and and part of how he did it is kind of what they're showing in this series is people underestimated him.
Yeah.
And I loved what Sophia Falcone said. People underestimate you, Oz, but I know what you're capable of. Almost saying like, motherfucker, I'm on to you. I know you had something to do with my brother, man. I know you did. Also, I think she suspects that he had something to do with her going to Arkham.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you haven't seen it, and apparently this is going to be a weekly fucking thing, which is
it is a limited series, though. It's not going to have a season 2. This is because the Penguin literally takes place a week after the Batman.
Yeah,
after it's going to bridge over to the next Batman.
Oh, okay.
And all I gotta say is, we said this in Nerd, but I'm going to say it again. It kind of pisses me off that this isn't the Batman we're going to get in the DCU, because it's fucking awesome. But hey, I also know these characters are open to interpretation. Ben Affleck was a great Batman, and I loved what Zack Snyder did. I loved his take on that character, and I loved what Christopher Nolan did. So I'm willing to see what James Gunn does. So anyway, man,
let's get out of here.
Plug as far as music goes. Hmm.
Hey,
You
I
know
don't
what?
have shit to promote,
I
but
know what I know what I can plug, man. It's this
I'll
band.
plug this.
They're a psychedelic like blues rock band called Blues Pills from Sweden. They got a new
Okay.
album out called Birthday. They got quite a discography. They've been around a number of years. Believe it or not, they're actually on the Nuclear Blast label, which is mostly metal, but they are so fucking good. I played a few of their tunes on my show. I think you even dug them, Adam. Check out the album. Check out the rest of their discography. Stream it. They're fucking
Okay.
awesome. Blues Pills. Check it out.
All right. Adam, you're about to say something?
Yes, real quick. I'm gonna promote the Metal Mike show, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Cranium Radio every Friday night. Check it out. Bushy, I wish I could promote your shit, but I don't know when you're gonna be streaming next. So
I know that.
anyway, check out the
And
Plug
that's okay. You
podcast.
just kissed his ass. I'll let that slide.
Come on, dude. I don't know what you want me to say here, Bush.
I got to
Anyways, you'll
tell you,
see me in the chat.
hell yeah. Thanks so much for being on, Adam. I'm going to plug Rocket Star yet
Okay.
again. Okay. We know about his Death of a Rock Star film that Metal Mike still hasn't watched, Dirty
I
Fuck.
need to do that. Yeah.
I bought the DVD, the soundtrack, and the Rocket Star debut album, and they're all amazing. But pre-orders right now, I believe it's rocketstar.com. I'll put that shit down in the thing,
Okay.
down in the thing. But there's pre-orders for vinyl, and you go to get a numbered edition, and it's going to have all kinds of extra artwork. It's a double vinyl album. It's the movie Death of a Rock Star, so it's that soundtrack. And there's a storybook coming along where he's going to explain what these lyrics mean for each song and such. I highly recommend you check this guy out, man.
I really need to, man, because it sounds very intriguing. And hey, maybe when I do watch it, we can do a review of it.
Tell me when you finally watch it, because I'll throw my DVD in and watch that bitch again because it's great. And you being a fan of the old Beatles, Yellow Submarine, and shit like that, that's kind of how the animation is.
Okay.
If you're a fan of like Mata Hoople and David Bowie and Queen and bands of that nature, you're gonna wicked love this soundtrack.
Okay.
If you're a fan of Pink Floyd, The Wall,
Well,
you're
it's my
going to
favorite
have,
Floyd album. So
you're
what's
going
that
to
tell
have
you?
some political leanings more in that direction. And I'm telling you, even though those political leanings aren't my direction, I love this album. And that's why I had that fucker on Hanging with Bushy to talk to him for an hour. Check it out. Go pre-order the vinyl, man, because he's releasing the vinyl. Pre-orders are up until like December.
Okay.
So check that out. Rocket Star's Death of a Rock Star. I'm not going to stop promoting that shit. It's so fucking good.
That's awesome.
It's Ralph Vieira, Phantom of the Paradise good.
Wow. All right. That's high praise, man.
Yeah.
And you know what? Again, check out What They Watch Us from the Moon. If you love ABBA, Pink Floyd, and Black Sabbath, that's the band for you. Check them out.
Oh, yeah. Adam, thanks so much for being on, man. We will definitely have you on again. Do you have any final thoughts?
Check out Black Joe Lewis and the Honey Bears.
Hell yeah. Metal Mike.
Keep fighting the good fight. Stay metal to your dying breath.
Yes, motherfuckers. Buy vinyl.
And Ozzy bless.
Hell yeah.
What? Buy vinyl. We'll see you next week.